Right, I'm turning my shed into a filming studio slash house for me to stay when I need it. But yeah, it needs some work obviously still. Fridge is in the wrong spot. It's right there. But yeah, it'll look good. I believe in it. There's a basket on the shelf. The restroom looks like this. Cool. Very beautiful, antique and chic. Wow. And look, the greatest feature. No toilet seat. Great. You know everyone loves no toilet seat feature. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna be working on this home soon. Gonna try and rent it out also, probably as a studio for people to film. So I'll put it up on PureSpace. I've been seeing people get around like $100 per hour. And if I can just get like maybe 15 bookings on PureSpace per month, it would be more than what I would get if I just rented it as a studio. So yeah, I'm in San Diego. I think it's gonna be pretty cool once it's all done. Obviously, it's not the greatest, and it's really small, but I'm gonna make this as nice as I possibly can. So deciding on what to paint the walls. I'm not sure if I want to go like black and wood, and then maybe throw up some sort of board up top, some sort of wood board, and change out that light. But I just want to make it look a little bit cooler. And yeah, it's gonna be great place for me to stay and work, and also potentially have someone else rent it out and make a little bit of money on the side. Again, it's just a little like filming studio. It's gonna be really cool. There's gonna be like soundboards probably on the wall. It's gonna be very aesthetic pleasing because it has to be for YouTube. So I'm excited, and this is part of real estate investing too. At the end of the day, it's just making a really nice place and then filming in there or renting it out. So that's what it looks like for now. I just wanted to give a quick update before I kind of show some progress videos. I'm having a pretty good day. It's been pretty much a day of me moving things out of the other home of the other unit into another smaller unit, which is this unit, so that someone else can rent out my top big unit for $3,000 a month, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, this is real estate investing at its finest. I'll tell you that, guys. Like, yeah, it doesn't look pretty right now, but I'm pretty sure at the end of this, all of you guys are gonna be like, wow, I would love to live in a place like this. Obviously, not like this right now, but when it's done, it's gonna be cool. And it's gonna be extra passive income. So if someone is struggling to live in San Diego, California, and they don't know how, house hacking is a great way. It's a great way to like kind of be able to afford your mortgage because it's super expensive. Like if you want to live in a place like this, it's like $6,000 every single month if you don't put a large down payment in. Obviously, if it's even larger, like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, that's when it's like really expensive, especially if it's furnished. If it's like if you purchase it, 4-bedroom, 3 baths, if they're $1 million and then you don't put a large down payment in, that means you just have a large mortgage payment every single month, which is not a bad thing because again, all the extra money you save by not having to put a large down payment in, you get to keep it, and then you can invest in something else like rural Airbnbs like I do, which make like an extra $5,000 per property, and they're only $200,000. So if you're not putting $200,000 on a property in San Diego down, on a down payment on a San Diego property for like $200,000, you can go and buy like a West Virginia Airbnb and rent that out on Airbnb, and essentially cover this mortgage payment with that one, which is kind of cool. Which is why, again, like, yeah, sure, it might be $6,300 versus $4,000 if you don't put $200,000 down, but you can take that $200,000 and buy just so many different better investments than just putting a large down payment down. It kind of makes the risk less too, because your alternative is if you're saying like, oh, that large down payment, that high mortgage amount is risky. I honestly think it's quite risky the opposite way, because if you are locking up your ability to invest by putting in this home, which is now essentially a liability, just takes money from your pocket every month, you're basically going to be working for that $200,000. And how hard is it to save $200,000? It's really hard. Even as a doctor pharmacy, Um, and I made $170,000 my best year. If I could even just save like $30,000 a year when I first started off, that was a really good year, because it's going to take me 7 years, 6 years to save $200,000. And because you didn't, again, spend it on that large down payment, because you used a lower down payment option, such as like a doctor loan, FHA loan, which is like 3.5% down, a VA loan, and you house hacked it, which again, like, makes things a lot easier, which means like buying a home and then renting out other spaces or units to other people to offset your mortgage. It's a really good deal. And that's how most people can still own property in San Diego, as long as they're creative and they're not overthinking about how unglamorous this is right now. I mean, if you can't imagine yourself ever doing a fixture up like this, you're definitely gonna have to buy something a little bit more expensive, or you're gonna have to wait a long time. But I can tell you, this is probably gonna look nicer than most people's homes after I'm done with it. And I didn't have to pay an extra like $400,000 to have a really nice home. And yeah, I just want to share this information out with anyone who's maybe struggling right now. They don't know what to do. They have like, they're working their 9 to 5, their W-2 job, and they just feel stressed out. And maybe they're on their way to save up their first $50,000, and they just don't know where to go. First thing to look at is, again, exploring these low down payment option homes in your backyard, so you can get some landlord experience first of all if you've never owned a home. But if you have had landlord experience and you're already house hacking, your next step is honestly to buy one of these rural rental real estates or rural Airbnbs in West Virginia. That will cost like $200,000. You'll put 10% down. You'll have $1,000 mortgage payment, and you'll make $5,000 to $12,000 every single month, around $70,000 a year to $120,000 a year on an Airbnb that costs you like maybe $50,000 all in, from your own pocket. Because we teach people how to fund it with 0% credit cards. We teach people how to use vacation home loans. We teach people how to get private money loan. So you're not stuck. And I just had a really nice comment from my friend the other day, whose farm says he just never imagined that he'd be so wealthy. But he's about to move soon, and he has a home here that he bought with his wife, and it's worth like, they have like $300,000 worth of equity, and they just don't see a way for them to ever retire until they're like 55. And I was just telling him, like, man, you're still only like 35. You can do this within 2 to 5 years if you really wanted, and if you have the right plan. And the right plan was essentially to, again, rent out their home, which their mortgage, all their expenses, including mortgage, is around $4,000. But we know that we can rent it for $6,500. And I've talked to multiple other like landlords and property managers in the area, and they're fairly confident this home that's a 4.2.5 in San Diego, California, can rent for $6,500 using like midterm rental strategies like insurance claims or travel nurses, using accounts like Furnish Finder, listing it on Zillow as a furnished finding, like as a furnished rental. And if you think about it, if they say got that extra $2,000 a month, that's an extra $2,000 they don't have to work for anymore. And if they ever want to like kind of retire or step back on their hours at work, they could, and they can use that $2,000. And say they decide they want to keep on working, hustling for like another 5 years, they can use that $2,000 and put it towards a down payment on another home, specifically an investment home. And that's what I think they're gonna end up doing. They're gonna move out of this home, rent it out, have $300,000 worth of equity. They're gonna do a HELOC on it, which is gonna allow them access to $200,000. They won't have to work anymore for a down payment because they already have a bunch of equity in their house right now. Plus the cash flow from the home is going to cover their mortgage, plus any like potential new expenses that their new home might have, which is pretty cool. It won't be like completely, obviously, unless they bought an investment home on their next buy, or if they just bought somewhere really affordable like in West Virginia and decided to live there, because again, they could buy a home cash for $200,000. But they're in a good place, and if you have $100,000 worth of equity, you can probably like retire within 2 to 5 years. I'm fairly confident. If you looked into real estate outside your backyard, you looked into Airbnbs, which cash flow much better than almost any other strategy. If you looked into midterm rentals, which do quite well, and you're not so stuck on the path of traditional finance, like traditional real estate, where like, oh, you have to pay $1,000 mortgage and then only make $1,200 on rent, or you have to pay $4,000 mortgage with expenses, and you only make $4,500 from your long term rent. So if you're going that way, it's going to be a long road for you, even though you'll make a lot of money through equity. But if you pivot and you check out some of my stuff on Instagram, or you check out my website teeco.co, teeco.co, you can figure out that like people are doing this successfully. I've done this successfully multiple times. I have 16 units now. Not all Airbnbs, but I love Airbnbs, and that's all I tell people to do now, because it can set you free in 2 to 5 years.